Hi. Today I would like to explore some new research, and when I say new research, I refer to research from November 2024 to do with Pompeii and the changing interpretations that have resulted from that. When you look at the syllabus for the Cities of Vesuvius, Pompeii and Herculaneum topic, that last section, reconstructing and conserving the past, specifically that first dot point, changing interpretations, it's really important, focusing on that word changing, that you're doing the best you can to include the most current and up-to-date research that's happening and the possible interpretations or changing interpretations that new research is bringing. So in this presentation, I'm going to spend just a short amount of time going over the research from November 2024, what it uncovered, who was involved, and some comments from academics regarding the importance of that new research and the interpretations that have evolved from that. So before I get into that, I just want to give some context. In November 2024, researchers from the University of Florence, Harvard University, and the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig have used ancient DNA to challenge long-held interpretations of the people of Pompeii. Contrary to physical appearances, the DNA evidence revealed unexpected variations in gender and kinship, revising the story as written since 1748. And that's why I think it's a really important example to bring into your HSC, if possible, if there's a relevant question, because this research from 2024 is challenging stuff that was set up, challenging, narratives, historical narratives that were established by 18th century archaeologists that have been going for such a long time. And I think that's a really important thing to bring up if you get the chance. Also, the genetic data from this study also underlined the cosmopolitan nature of the Roman Empire, showing that Pompeians were mainly descended from immigrants from the Eastern Mediterranean. So in regards to the research conducted in November 2024, it uncovered two areas of changing interpretations. The first being the genetic relationships of victims, and the second being the cosmopolitan nature of the Roman Empire. We're going to explore both these two areas of changing interpretations and look at comments from scholars and the academic world. So for the genetic relationships of victims, Professor David Caramali from the Department of Anthropology at the University of Florence states that this research shows how genetic analysis can significantly add to the stories constructed from archaeological data. He goes further to say that the findings challenge enduring notions such as the association of jewelry with femininity or the interpretation of physical proximity as evidence of familial relationships. And lastly, Professor Caramelli states that genetic evidence adds a layer of complexity to simple kinship narratives. For example, in the House of the Golden Bracelet, the only site where we have genetic information from multiple individuals, the four people traditionally thought to be the two parents and their children actually have no genetic ties to each other. David Reich, a geneticist from Harvard University, adds to this, stating, "The scientific data we provide do not always align with common assumptions." Further, one notable example is the discovery that an adult wearing a golden bracelet and holding a child, traditionally interpreted as a mother and child, were an unrelated adult male and child. Furthermore, these findings challenge traditional gender and familial assumptions. The other big area that the changing interpretations came from this study was looking at the cosmopolitan nature of the Roman Empire. In regard to this, Alyssa Mitnick from the Department of Archaeogenetics at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology stated, "Our findings have significant implications for the interpretation of archaeological data and the understanding of ancient societies. They highlight the importance of integrating genetic data with archaeological and historical information to avoid misinterpretations based on modern assumptions." Furthermore, this study also underscores the diverse and cosmopolitan nature of Pompeii's population, reflecting broader patterns of mobility and cultural exchange in the Roman Empire. In addition, Professor Caramali from the Department of Anthropology at the University of Florence states, it is also likely that the use of these casts for narration purposes could have led to past restorers modifying their postures and placements, while also understanding that the combined use of genetic data and other bioarchaeological methods provides us with the chance to better comprehend the lives and habits of the victims of the Vesuvius eruption. And lastly, comments from Gabriel Zucktriegel, who is the director of the Pompeii Park, and he's responded to these comments from the academics, stating that Pompeii Park has been including ancient DNA analysis in its study protocols for years, not only for human victims, but also for animal victims. Zucktriegel goes further to comment that the use of DNA alongside a range of technologies, and this is where his quote begins, contributes to a comprehensive, updated interpretation of the archaeological findings. These efforts are turning Pompeii into a veritable incubator for the development of new methods, resources, and scientific comparisons. And lastly, he states, from this point of view, this study marks a true change in perspective, in which the site itself plays a central role in advancing archaeology and research. I really hope this has been helpful in some way, and fingers crossed you might get a question in the HSC regarding this, and it would be a really great example to use to show the most current and updated research that has been influencing changing interpretations. Thanks for listening.